Hi guys and welcome. In this video we're going to be looking at the news that was released today from Games Workshop in regards to the game which we will hopefully be seeing soon, Warhammer Old World. Hello, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I hope I find you all very well in these merry times. I've had a really good Christmas, really chilled out at home with family. I hope you guys have done the same. So, I never intended on making this video. This video was made spur of the moment because I kind of put a post up in our group over on Facebook, Top Table Gaming Community. If you're not on there, search that on Facebook and join in the fun. It is a great place to be. I put a post up when Games Workshop released an article about their new game. I say new game. It is a new game and it's not a new game. We'll come to that later. But it's about the game Warhammer Old World. This is obviously a reincarnation of the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which was succeeded then obviously by Age of Sigmar. They released the article today. We've not heard anything for a long time. When they announced that they were doing this game, it was met with open arms from the community, generally anyway. Obviously, there was a lot of people who were quite upset about the fact that they burnt all their armies or sold them off when the old world exploded and disintegrated into space or whatever happened. I was never a Warhammer Fantasy player. I sort of had one eye on it, admired miniatures and things like that in Games Workshops, but I never played, so I don't know too much about the lore, so please do bear with me. These videos, which I'm going to be doing as we learn more and more, are going to come from the viewpoint of someone who hasn't played before. So for me, it's really exciting, but I do want to hear from you guys that did play the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles and let me know your thoughts about them revisiting and bringing it back up. I've worked out that it is set a long time before the end times of the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle. So there are a lot of things that are in this new incarnation that weren't in the older version. So this is a lot of fun, and they have said, especially in today's article, it's a new game. They've not said, you know, sort of rehashing out the old game. It's a new game in a familiar world. So are the rules going to be totally different? Is it going to be a whole new rule set? Are we going to go back to square bases? You know, there's so many questions out there that I see on the internet. But like I was saying a moment ago, I put a post out to ask if anyone else was interested because it has piqued my interest since they announced it. And I've kind of kept one eye on other content creators and articles that have been popping up on Facebook and what have you about people sort of guessing or second guessing what they think it's going to be, because I am really interested in it. I did buy and own many moons ago the game Mordheim, which is set in and around that world, and Warhammer Fantasy Battles and the old world is so familiar to me. A lot of the old stuff when I was younger, you know, the knights on horses, you know, barbarians, the thoughts of Bretonnia, which we'll come to, which is what the article was about today, you know, the thought of these townsfolk and, you know, men at arms and knights, and they're all just sort of working together to defend themselves from orcs and skavens and everything like that. It's amazing, and it just does bring me right back to the early days of my wargaming life, which I started quite late, but I always did like to go in a Games Workshop and have a look around. So yeah, it's kind of bringing all that back, and I hope they're able to keep hold of the feel and that kind of vibe. Obviously, we're going to get new models again, which we'll talk about in a moment. I just hope that the models do sort of pay homage to the old vibe that we used to have. Some people don't like it, which is great, but I just think it would be nice just to give the old school a bit of a nod. The AOS stuff is amazing, but I just think I always preferred the old feel to the Games Workshop miniatures that were set in the old world. I think they're just fantastic. So, I've waffled on a bit already. Right, okay, this article. So, I think it was back in February, March. The Warhammer Community article came out, and it's shown us quite a sort of overview map of the Empire with not much information on there. And that feels like forever ago. Like I said, I think it was February or March. And since then, we've not really heard anything. There's been a few mentions of it, but nothing substantial, nothing concrete. And then today, out of the blue, we get this article, and it does a close-up on the map of Bretonnia. Do check out the article. I will put a link in the description below. It's very interesting, and the map looks fantastic. It points out the fact that there's a load more new heraldry there that you've not seen before. Again, it's all new to me anyway, because I didn't really get involved in the old school Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but they're saying there's a lot of new heraldry there we've not seen. I think there's 18 coats of arms on that map that they've shown, and they're just the Bretonnia coat of arms. You've then got symbols for wood elves, symbols for high elves, and things like that. So there's a lot in this small area that they've zoomed on. So that kind of gives you an idea of how vast this world is going to be, and when something's that big, the things that they can do with it. Games Workshop have pretty much, they've got themselves a clean slate. I'm fully expecting an absolute rake load of new miniatures which are going to blow our minds. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. So as well as the Bretonnia coats of arms, the High Elf coat of arms, or the Enclaves as they call them. I think there's 4 of those, and there's a couple of Wood Elf symbols in and around the woods. There is also logos and symbols for Orcs. So we know it's going to be Orcs that are going to be there. It sounds like your starter box is going to be Bretonnia versus Orcs, which is fantastic for me. Because like I said, even though there's a lot of stuff in the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles, faction-wise, that I really do like, Bretonnia is kind of, like I say, the thing that sort of would grab hold of me and I'd sort of lean toward. So if that is the case, that's fantastic. Who doesn't like orcs, and who doesn't like men fighting orcs? It's great. Now the article did point out and kind of shine a light on one character in particular called King Lowen the Orc Slayer. And again, through reading other articles and watching other videos of people talking about them, this name is significant because there is a similar named character in the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles. I don't think it's Orc Slayer though. From some of the things that I've read, it was something else. So is that the same family tree? Is it the same dude? Who knows? Is it, same bloodline? We just don't know yet. But apparently he's a big deal. He's the king of Bretonnia, and he's the head honcho who pretty much oversees everything. It touches on the fact that he is the guy who brought the battle to the orcs and claimed back some of the townships for Bretonnia themselves on the borderlands, etc. So he sounds like a bit of a beast, and I'll be interested to find out more about this dude. So an interesting thing that popped in my head straight away was, how many factions are they going to start with? So when they do release the game, is it just going to be a 2-faction starter set and they're not going to give us any information on anything else? Or are they going to release a handful of factions? Surely there'll be a handful. And there's been loads of names touted around on the forums and Facebook groups, some of which are obviously Bretonnia, High Elves, Wood Elves, Dark Elves, Skaven, Tomb Kings, Vampire Counts, Greenskins, Skaven, Beastmen, etc, etc. It sounds like they've got a lot of things that they could get the teeth stuck into. I don't think they're going to release everything straight off the bat. I think it will be a lot like kind of what they've done with Warcry, and we'll get sort of like a handful straight off the bat, and then maybe every few months they'll release another faction and some miniatures and some rules to go with those. That would make sense to me. One of the things that I've read that would, I don't know, like I say, I don't know this as fact. Some guys who have played Warhammer Fantasy Battle would have to tell me in the comments below. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Apparently earlier on in the timeline for the old world, there was no magic. Is this the case? Is this going to be a game with no magic? I can't see it. Obviously, chaos involved in there, dark elves, etc., and the elves are there. There's going to be some sort of magic somehow. How are they going to do that? Is there going to be no magic for Bretonnia? Is there going to be no sort of man wizards as such? Who knows? This is something that I hope isn't the case, because love me a bit of magic. But do let me know in the comments below what you guys think. So timescale also is something that I've thought about. I think when they first announced it, they said it could be with like 3 or 4 years. I think I remember way back before lockdown. It was at the Warhammer World Open Day. I went to one of the sit down and chats, and they mentioned it there, and I'm sure they said it was 3 or 4 years off, which puts us in and around the sort of like 2023, 2024 timescale. I would like to think it's going to be more 2022. I just feel that to tease something for 4 years is a long time, and I just think maybe they've done that so that they can pull it out a lot earlier, and everyone will be like, "Wait, let's all spend our money on this game," which would be fantastic. So I'm thinking around 2022, and in that mindset, that would tell me that in 2021 we're going to start seeing a lot of imagery of the stuff that they have in mind. We've already seen the map, we've seen close-ups of Bretonnia. I think over the coming months we might see a little bit more. We might start to see some concept art of some of the miniatures, possibly some renders of the miniatures, which I'm really looking forward to. Some of the stuff that they're doing for AOS and 40k, it's unrivaled, Games Workshop, and I think, you know, just, I said this at the start of the video, if they can do something that sort of knocks your socks off but gives a nod to that old vibe, it'll be a massive thumbs up for me. And I'll probably buy the miniatures whether I play the game or not, just to paint them and have them on my shelf, because there's no doubt in this world that Games Workshop are the best at what they do, and I think that there's so much hype around this. I can't see how it can be a bad thing. I can't see how they can ruin it. They're very talented people. They know what they're doing, and they seem to have a business model at the moment which is going from strength to strength, even through lockdown and everything else. And a lot of other businesses were struggling. Games Workshop, I've seen just to tune into what people want and what people need, and I've nailed it every time. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I might be a little bit closer to the mark, thinking that we might get it earlier than 2023 and 2024, due to the fact of COVID and things like that, and maybe people have been able to work from home and just sort of get their heads down and get everything nailed down rules-wise and things. But yeah, we will wait and see. I hope that's the case. What do you guys think? Please do let me know. So before I wrap up this video, I did mention earlier on about Mordheim. Do I think that there's going to be spin-offs of this game? I would say yes. I think they would be sort of your 2023, 2024 timescale. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. I think this game is going to be an absolute hit. It's going to pull a lot of people back into the hobby who were disheartened when the old world ended and AOS kicked off. So a lot of people went from Warhammer Fantasy Battles to AOS, and a lot of people didn't make that transition into AOS and went off to scratch their wargame niche elsewhere. I think this could be the game that brings them all back, and if it does prove popular, there's no reason why they won't do what they've done with 40k. With 40k, you know, you've got kill teams and things like that. With AOS, you've got the war cry. So I still am crossing my fingers again for a version of Mordheim, which would be fantastic. Mordheim was a fantastic game. It doesn't hold up to, or should I say, it doesn't stand up to what my memories of it are, unfortunately, at the moment. And I think it needs a new rule set, new miniatures, and just a new lease of life. So I think if this is successful, which it will be, right, let's be honest, there's no reason why they wouldn't do a new Mordheim or something like Mordheim. Fingers crossed. Like I say, please do get involved in the chat below, and I'll take this opportunity. I should have said it at the start of the video, but I'm that excited I forgot. If you haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button. I'm going to be talking about the old world as and when we get the information, and as and when we can get our hands on something and give it a go. You will see it here on Top Table Gaming. So please do subscribe if you're interested. We also have a lot more other stuff. We do a lot of Middle-earth content here. We're going to be sort of rolling into 40k also. Little bits of Age of Sigmar and Warcry. We have got some Warcry content, and there will be some more coming back. I have a couple of players who are interested in playing on camera, which I will film the battle reports, edit them, and get them out on the channel. For you guys who still play Warcry, I know there's a lot of you out there, so look forward to that in 2021. Until then, guys, I will see you in the next video. If I don't see you before New Year's Eve, I hope you have a great New Year. Stay safe, keep washing your hands, and we'll get through this very, very soon, and we can all hang out together, which is what we want to do, right? And roll some dice. So guys, I've been Top Table Steve, and I will see you soon. Take care.